Alrighty, so the big question is marketing dead in 2025? Obviously, if you're making funnels, running copy, doing ads, you're most likely using AI now. Um, and the efficiency of it has increased your productivity, your time, and your output, most importantly. So, one thing I think it's important to note is no, potentially, maybe, but I think there's more things to consider now. So one thing would be just output, right? So having serious output now creates a bit of a challenge. So if you're looking at output, you can read copy, and you tend to know that it is developed by chat, just the way it's structured, and the way it is written. Now, the thing you have to consider, and we'll get more into this, we're actually going to deep dive into Jeremy Miner's low ticket funnel. It's one of the best low ticket funnels in the market. But there's various things to consider. I'm actually in RMBC2, Stefan Georgi's program, and what he says is that it's not necessarily about copywriting anymore. Rather, it's about becoming a copy thinker. Okay. Because what happens is if we have levels, right, levels of expertise, well, for instance, copy, and again, this goes back to leverage. Copy was maybe let's say just a leverage one task, right? So very effective when done right. But it was only words. You still need to create the ads, the funnels, the VSL, the scripts, all that stuff. But what happens is now AI basically takes this off your plate so you can achieve it a lot easier. And now you can become a level 2 leverage activity. Okay. And so what Stefan says is that what you want to do is become a copy thinker. Okay. Because now AI is allowing us to do a lot of things, right? So for instance, the agency I work for right now, we just put out a low ticket funnel in about 9 days. And filmed, recorded everything, had the scripts, and you go to market a lot quicker and you can just get data a lot faster, which is fantastic. But the reason you want to become a copy thinker now is because the game has leveled up. So if you're looking at skills, let's just say here, if you're looking at skills, right, there's tiers. Well, now this skill does not matter. And not that copy doesn't matter, it's not to say that. But if you are going to present to the marketplace, aka clients or prospects, that you're only going to do copy, right now that's not that effective. Because again, AI now has commoditized copywriting, right? Just like it's kind of commoditizing making ads. So then what you want to do is you want to become, as Stefan would say, a copy thinker. This is what kind of the bulk of today's conversation is about. Because a copy thinker just doesn't say, I can produce X things. Instead, just like Breakthrough Advertising, all right, one of the books you should be reading, rereading, it becomes more of a strategic game and more of a holistic marketer. So instead of a copy thinker, I like to think holistic marketing, because now what you can do and what you should be striving to do, and which we're going to talk about here, is you want to be able to create ads. So you want to be able to create the advertisements. You want to be able to create the ads, be able to develop the funnel, and everything in between. Okay, so funnel and then maybe back end. Okay, because now you have the ability to do that. Now, whether your skill is there or not, it's there. So a copy thinker, you have to be very strategic. So let's kind of just jump into some examples here instead of just babbling so much. So if you don't know, this is Jeremy Miner. He is one of the top sales trainers in the world. 7th level here. And this just absolutely crushes. And they are playing now with the headline because this has switched. So more importantly, this is still live and they're running traffic to it. So being a copy thinker, right? Before it was just writing the copy, perfect. Now you can kind of pass it along. But being a holistic marketer or a copy thinker, let's kind of break that down. So this is kind of the black book, and you'll see they kind of use. If you are trying to develop a low ticket, I would heavily suggest mimicking this right here because it is absolutely crushing. Blake Wyatt, VP of 7th level. That's kind of broken it down multiple times, and it's absolutely printing money. So let's kind of see what they're advertising, at least what they're pushing to that funnel. And so let's go here. So we have this one here. Let's sell everyone else on the sales floor 30 days with the black book of questions. Hint, right? The answer is not finding a new closing line. So before, this was, good enough, right? I don't know where to put myself. Before, being a copywriter was kind of good enough. You could do your thing, perfect, and then you could get conversions. Now, one thing to note here, classic DR, direct response marketing, the PS statements and any email letter has been proven to be one of the most read parts of the entire letter or whatever you are writing. Usually the PS, it just stands out. People read it. So their PS statements, just quickly here, basically you have the additional bonuses that they are presenting. And then we have the money back guarantee, which when we flip over to the actual funnel, you see a tremendous amount. Also, quickly here, you will see the same copy, obviously. So they've tested this. They've tested the heading. They have tested the talk less, sell more. That's amazing. If you think every sales trainer or every individual thinks sales is about talking. So if you can talk less and sell more, I think that's amazing. And then 2x your sales without resorting to pushy, outdated sales tactics. All right, so keep these themes in mind as we keep breaking this down. Now, obviously, again, this has been tried, tested. So let's carry on. Let's see what else they're doing here. Okay, so the black book. What do top 1% professionals know about closing that you don't? Old school tactics, again, throwing rocks at your competitors or whatever, and then presenting novelty. Okay, so are things better because X, Y, and Z? If you want to unlock the secrets, perfect, grab your copy here. And they link it. Let's see here. The quality of your questions determines the amount of your commissions. Perfect. So this is, again, look at the angles, right? So this is basically selling, do better than your competition. This is kind of basically that as well, but just the top 1%. This is basically saying it's not about talking or whatever. It's just about asking questions. And then we see the PS statements here again. Perfect. Same thing. They just changed out the picture to have Jeremy here instead of a hand. Let's see. No. All right, here we go. This is a little different. Again, same copy. You're just going to switch out. Perfect. So here they're calling out, right? 273 counterintuitive sales question. Ooh, counterintuitive. My goodness. All right, speak less, sell more. So they're really hammering on the speak less. Again, contrast the popular belief. Yes, you can actually speak less and sell more, right? And it's a contrast. You don't hear it much within that industry. So it's novelty. Novelty sells. Anything really kind of the pushing mechanism of anything is just the novelty, okay? Everyone wants novelty. Specifically, if you're trying to lose weight, novelty works. That's why a bunch of these, whether they're black hat or not, a bunch of these DR weight loss offers, it's this new thing. It's this root found in the swamp, and suddenly if you apply this and you blend it with this and you drink it at this time and this day, whatever, you will lose weight. And again, get this book, read it, get a PDF of it. But what Eugene will say is that depending on your market awareness, that kind of dictates how far you have to go, right? So right now, weight loss, everyone knows what weight loss is. Everyone knows all the options. Everyone is pretty much aware, right? Like if you look at the stages, the awareness stages, everyone is pretty much at the top. They are product aware. They are extremely aware. They're very sophisticated, just like cosmetics and beauty. They are very much a sophisticated market. So you have to go the extra mile to figure out how we going to spin up this narrative so that they sell, right? So that they come and they buy it. And that's why you have these sometimes, yes, uncompliant, very uncompliant, definitely not clean claims that are just suggesting the wildest thing. But you have to do that. Not that you don't have to. I'll take that back. You don't have to do that. But again, the more they aware of the market, you will see these offers. That's why Alex Hormozi, when he came out with $100 million offers, everyone just started doing like $5,000 money back guarantees because BizOp is severely, right? BizOp, business opportunity, that niche or that industry is just, they're all jaded. I mean, we've all bought programs. We all know how it works. We all know how the dance goes. And the last thing, I want is someone else trying to sell me stuff. So then everyone was just offering 10,000, money back guarantee for $10,000 if it doesn't work. X, Y, and Z, selling you the car, selling you the mansion. Like it's just unreal, right? Eventually, you go, okay, guys, this is too far. Let's dial it back in. But again, you will see. That's why if someone's claiming something, it's because they're in a very sophisticated market. All right, let's continue onwards. So as you can see here, again, same text. And if you want, drop it down below. We can actually go over some copy structure, some stuff like that that seems to work very well. Your classic ADA stuff, some other stuff for your headlines as well, or your front view. So you kind of get the point. We're taking the angle of outsell everyone, perfect, speaking to the ego. We have ask better questions, get better answers, which is a little different perspective in that industry. You have different photos. You have the 273 plus counterintuitive sales questions. Close effortlessly, perfect. And again, too, so it's sales. Sales is very aware as well. That's why you see their advertising is not that long. I mean, sure, it's well done. Again, we're going to throw rocks. Hint, the answer is not finding a new closing line. Perfect. It's not about your objections. It's the fact that you're using the outdated sales system. In fact, most sales professionals are using methods that are 100 years old. Ooh, buyer psychology has changed, right? The whole market has changed. You're going to need this perfect thing to help you navigate today's landscape. Like, it's all that kind of stuff. The model asks questions use specific framework that allows prospects to actually pull themselves right. Type of question that sales resistance, right? Cuts perfect now, after, right? So again, this is all here for a reason. And now I put these. So one thing to realize is too, and Alan Soltanic has helped me a lot with this, is that you want to basically increase emotion as you're getting to the click. So as we're coming down here, right? So we're selling the system. Again, that's why the difference when you have CTR all, it's very high. That means it's curiosity based. So you're having a lot of curiosity clicks when you have your CTR all very high. And if your CTR unique, right, is low, that means the reader can't visualize or can't put themselves into actually doing this thing, right? So here what you need to do is you need to make it more intent based, and they do that by saying, I put these top questions, right, that close more deals with taking less whatever. So if you're ready to tap into this model, become the top producer on your sales floor, head here and grab the black book as your cheat sheet to closing deals with authenticity and without forcing yourself through a broken sales model. So again, they're future pacing what you're going to experience on this funnel here. Perfect. So I know as a reader, I know what to expect. Perfect. I'm going to go to this funnel here. Awesome. but what they're also doing is they're making me feel like I can actually achieve this. All right, so it's more intent-based copy, and then boom, before I click again, they're here, perfect. They're selling it, 5 additional bonuses, awesome, and money where your mouth is guaranteed. All right, why don't I just click? Okay, so one of the biggest things I've taken away from Alan, and there's a lot. If you don't know who he is, look him up. I'm in their group. Is that basically the CTR all? If you have a lot of clicks, it's because you're provoking curiosity, and that if your CTR is low, they can't see themselves partaking within whatever you're trying to sell. All right, so you got to start right, and even if your CTR all is very high, sometimes you actually want to drop that, and it's going to level out your CTR. Okay, so even though if your CTR is taking a hit, right, if you drop it, that's totally fine, because ultimately you want proper buyers clicking, um, which hopefully increases your CTR. All right, kind of some nuance there. So let's go back to the copy thinking here. We're going a little long here, but so after having these themes, right, they're priming me, they're future pacing what I'm going to experience. When I click here, boom, you can get the 5 additional bonuses. Lovely. I am then brought to this page here, okay? And again, we've seen this before. 273 science-based sales questions. Lovely. And then without lowering your status. Okay, so we've kind of already experienced some of this tonality they are using. Perfect. I see the 5 bonuses. All right. And if you look, again, being a copy thinker, okay, like Stefan says, being a copy thinker or holistic marketer, you have to be able to path this out. And what I mean by that is that you have to be able to develop the ad, okay, plus copy, okay, having it intriguing enough that one, it's working, but 2, you're actually getting your ICP, right? And then it needs to have funnel alignment. So in your funnel, it has to be speaking kind of the same language. It has to be revolving around the same product. So obviously here, yes, they're trying to sell me on the black book. I'm well aware of that. But if I were to come here, and as stupid as it sounds, if I were to come here and they're selling me cake, well, that's like a bait and switch, you know. But that's the extreme side. But you'll be surprised where people really drop the mark with the alignment. Your biggest thing is going to be a messaging issue, most likely. It is a messaging issue. For instance, there was one funnel, and they were doing a Black Friday, Cyber Monday funnel, and one of their ads basically did not suggest it was a Black Friday funnel. And so already you have a disconnect because you're not sure what kind of funnel this is for. You're not sure what they're trying to sell me. It was basically just like a playbook, and you didn't really know it was for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Okay, and immediately, again, it's those nuances that create confusion. And again, a confused buyer will disappear, will click off. Okay, so what you have to realize is that as a copy thinker or holistic marketer, you have to make sure there is alignment all the way through from basically touch to buy, and even post-purchase, right? Post-purchase. Right? Like all the emails, depending on what funnel you're doing, or even in e-com, you'll do emails. There has to be complete alignment depending on what funnel they are going through. And if, for instance, this said here, if it said, I don't know what it would, if it would just say something a little weird that really didn't suggest that this was kind of sales or whatever. If they said it was this thing you can do before each sales call that changes your physiology, it would be a lot different. I mean, I thought I was getting 273 things, counterintuitive, counterintuitive questions. And then I come here and it's just confused. Okay, so again, there has to be full alignment, and you have to, if you want, you can use AI And what I tried doing for the longest time was using basically like copying what others were doing and then just using AI to morph it into my offer. The problem is it doesn't work unless you're in the same market. They're the same awareness stages, right? So what I always found was that there was always a mismatch between what I was pulling from and then translating that over to my offer. Because again, there's two different people. It's like basically trying to sell. It's like basically you were trying to sell to the elderly, and then you wanted to take that messaging and then sell it to high school students, and it just doesn't work even if you are using AI. That's why you have to be a holistic marketer. That's why you have to think, okay, what stage of awareness are they at, right? And then kind of fine tune and kind of start curating the messaging and the offer and everything. So that's kind of that. I think we'll pause it here. Just remember, alignment is crucial. Yes, AI is disrupting everything. Marketing isn't fully dead just yet. And being a copy thinker, again, this is Stefan Georgi. Look him up. Georgi, I believe. Look him up. But having alignment is super crucial. Okay, and this is going to help you having full funnel alignment. And again, sometimes it is a little tricky to get that full funnel alignment, but this is ultimately going to increase your conversions, making you more money. Okay, so that's kind of that. We probably keep it there. And that is day number 4. I'm trying to go for 14 days here. And if you have any questions, put them down. If you want me to review anything, put them down. And we'll go from there.